At least it is a Spider-Man movie with Spider-Man in it. You know? Not the Spider-Man we all know and love, but still. You know. Nicolas Cage goes full film noir in new Spider-Noir. Images and details. So there he is in his suit. It's very basic and stuff, you know. Spider-Noir has dropped new details and images, offering a new look at Sony's pulpy, hard-boiled take on Spider-Man lore. And it's leaning hard into classic noir vibes. Update. 2 new posters have been released, as Sony has announced the trailer drops Thursday. Well, all right, get used to it. Oh, look, there he is. There he is, this noir character walking through the street. And then, oh, but he's really Spider-Noir. Yeah, yeah. All right, there you go. And then you can watch it in glorious color or authentic black and white. Not just, you turn the color off. No. They did both versions. So it'll look like an old-timey movie like it's supposed to. Oh, look, they flipped it to where Spider-Noir in his reflection is. So don't look at his reflection. You'll see his secret identity, There he is squatting, because that's what spider people do. The series stars Nicolas Cage as a wary private investigator in a Depression-era New York. This version isn't the familiar Peter Parker. Instead, Cage plays Ben Reilly, an older, jaded hero known simply as the Spider. Yeah, not the pulp spider. That was kind of a knockoff of the Shadow. But kind of the same idea, except he's got, I assume, spider powers and all that. Anyway, trading wisecracks for cynicism and a fedora. All right. The newly released images via Esquire highlight the show's smoky offices, rain-slicked streets, and Cage fully embracing the gumshoe persona. The character is very different from the Peter Parker from the movies. It's not even Peter Parker, so it's pretty different. He's older and jaded and not afraid to punch a guy in the face drunkenly, producer Phil Miller said, while Chris Lord added, he already had his Chinatown disillusionment moment that happened years and years ago. Oh, my God. She's your sister. She's your daughter. She's your sister. She's your daughter. She's your sister and your... Oh, my God. So one of the big hooks, Spider-Noir, will be available in 2 formats. Hey, look at that. He's doing the Batman thing, huh? See, this would be a cool approach to Batman. It's just a thought. Just go back to the original glory days of your superheroes. Superman as well. Make it look like Max Fleischer cartoon. I'm telling you, whatever. Viewers can watch it in stark black and white, evoking classic film noir, or in a stylized color version that resembles colorized vintage films. Both versions were shot simultaneously, not added later. Weird. So it's... Anyway, there's his, private investigator thing, and so he's Bill Riley, private investigator. Never mind how he conducts his investigations. He dresses up as the Spider and crawls around the walls, and peeks through the window and all that. The truth is, they both work, and they're beautiful for different reasons, Cage tells Esquire. The color is super saturated and gorgeous. I think teenage viewers will appreciate the color, but I also want them to have the option. If they want to experience the concept in black and white, maybe they would instill some interest in them to look at earlier movies and enjoy that as an art form as well. Well, one could hope. Yeah. I mean, when I was a youngin', I looked at old movies because it was new to me. Could that happen? I don't know. Oren Uziel, a co-showrunner of Spider-Noir, added, it looks like a black and white film that's been kind of colorized. That was one of the inspirations for how to do it. Well, I don't know. From these images, it just looks like color pictures. So I don't know if these are just stills or what it'll look like on screen. The images also spotlight Lee Jun Lee as Cat Hardy. So I guess a take on Felicia Hardy, the Black Cat, a nightclub singer with clear femme fatale energy. Plus noir style reimaginings of Marvel characters like Robbie Robertson. Well, he just looks really young, but other than that, that's Robbie Robertson. I don't know. Unless he's a writer. So he's still working for the news. I don't know. Anyway, they're both investigators, Uzil says, of Robbie and Ben. They both go back a long way. Their relationship has really deep ties. Uh-oh. The biggest and most obvious difference is that Robbie is a guy who almost carries around a rabbit's foot. He thinks he's lucky, and it's all going to work out. Ben is a character who thinks it's never going to work out. It's all going to go to shit. Life's a big disaster. So Ben's cynicism is kind of an opposing force to Robbie's optimism. Well, all right, then. I guess that's his secretary. I don't know. The cast leans into classic detective archetypes while still pulling from Spider-Man history. Karen Rodriguez plays Janet, a newly created character for the series, described as always helpful as compared to Effie from the Maltese Falcon. Right. All right. Lee Jun Lee plays Cat Hardy, a nightclub chanteuse who lures Riley into the underworld conspiracy at the center of the series. The story centers on a powerful gangland boss, Silvermane, who is a villain in the Spider-Man comics, who gets his body completely broken by the Green Goblin, and so he ends up in a cyborg body. Yeah, but at least it looks silver. See? He's called Silvermane because that's his name, but it's also because his hair turned white. Anyway, he was a mob boss who survived multiple assassination attempts, so maybe he still has a mechanical body of some sort. I don't know. What starts as a routine investigation spirals into something much bigger when Riley uncovers signs that forces beyond ordinary crime are involved, including an arsonist with the ability to create fire from his hands and violent run-ins with hired muscle like Flint Marko, played by Jack Huston or Houston. I don't know. Anyway, Spider-Noir is set to premiere this spring on MGM Plus in the U.S. with global streaming on Prime Video. All right. I'm more than willing to give this a chance. It looks cool. The pulp noir stuff, love that. And if they capture that, do well with it, even with crazy Nicolas Cage, it might actually work. I don't know why they're not, I guess just to call it Spider-Noir instead of Spider-Man Noir, which was the original title. But, it's an alternate universe thing, all that stuff. All fine, well, good, and dandy. Doesn't really mess with the typical Spider-Man stuff. But at least, this is a means by which Sony is able to produce their own Spider-Man, in this case, Spider-Man show, with an actual Spider-Man in it, instead of trying to make something out of his villains and stuff like that. I think they were even going to do like a romantic story of young May and Ben Parker, just trying to pick whatever they could out of Spider-Man. Yeah. But, for the most part, other than the cartoons, it didn't work. So this one might work if they did it well and all that. All right, then. All right. So there you go. Spider-Noir.